Hello everyone, thanks for checking out today's video. Welcome to my channel, Jersey Shore Pondscapes Videos. My name is Chris. I have a ton of videos here all about koi ponds, waterfalls, water gardens, construction, design, to maintenance, to fish and aquatic plants and filter systems, you name it. I've got a ton of videos here. Please feel free, take your time, take a look around. Hopefully you can find some videos that can help you out, answer some questions. That's why I'm doing all this. So, I really appreciate your support. If you're into this stuff, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and, it really helps these videos to get out there more and more to more people. So hopefully, it can help more people as well. Today's video, we are talking about the use of gravel or mulch around your pond. I did a video a couple weeks back about whether to use grass seed or sod around your pond. After you're done building it, how are you finishing it off with grass seed or sod? We talked all about that. Today I want to talk about whether you should use gravel around your landscape of your pond or mulch and what the pros and cons are of each, okay? First off, let's talk about gravel. So there's all different kinds of gravel, all right? All different sizes, different types. What you use in the pond may be the same that you're going to use all around the pond. You might use something different, a little more decorative. That's totally up to you. What I want to suggest to you with gravel is, number one, if you are using gravel in an area where you're going to be walking, whether it's an area right up in front of your pond where you're going to walk up and view your pond, or it's maybe like a little gravel pathway around your pond or something, use a smaller gravel there. Use something 3/8 of an inch to 3/4 of an inch, and I would say no bigger than 3/4. It's simply easier to walk on. All right. Once you get 1 inch, 1 to 3 inch, and larger like goose egg gravel, 3 to 5 inch, it's very difficult to walk on. You got big round things under your shoes, under your feet, and it becomes very uneven and unstable. Nice small crushed gravel where you're going to walk is much easier to walk on. Now, whatever you're doing in your landscape around your pond, you might want to mix up different sizes of gravel. That's fine. Absolutely no problem there. It actually kind of gives it a little more interest, right? To use different sizes, pop a couple boulders, some bigger rocks in, and put other sizes around it. Be creative. Make it look natural. Make it look like it just fell there and it's just naturally there, okay? But where you want to walk, keep it smaller. Now, using gravel under, around your pond, I would suggest using some sort of a landscape fabric, okay? Something like this. Now there's all different kinds. Some is really cheaper, thinner. Some of it's, more expensive. It's a heavier, more durable fabric. The fabric basically acts as a weed barrier between, the ground and, your gravel. So you don't have all kinds of weeds growing. And it actually works really, really well. Much better to put a fabric down under the gravel around your pond and not have weeds than to not use the gravel, have weeds growing, and then need to spray them with an herbicide around the pond. You don't want to do that, because if that herbicide gets into the pond water, it's very toxic. All right. So a good landscape landscape fabric under the gravel can be very effective. All right. Definitely works well. Now, if your landscape fabric is on a incline, all right, on a hill, on a pretty sharp, steep hill, and you put gravel on it, it's going to slide right down. So just be aware of that as well, all right? Now, while I'm on this subject of the landscape fabric, there's a lot of mixed opinions on using landscape fabric. Yes, it is good at blocking weeds under gravel. Mulch, not so much, but we'll get into that. Um, However, landscape fabric lasts a long, long time, okay? It doesn't like biodegrade, all right? And what tends to happen with it over a longer period of time is roots, I mean, you can plant your plants and stuff in it. You have to cut holes in the fabric to put your plants in, whether you're putting shrubs, bushes, whatever, okay? You got to cut it and cut it all around the bushes and stuff. But the plants, roots, trees, bushes, shrubs, whatever, end up growing, weaving into the fabric. So someday, if you ever have to, remove the rock and gravel, remove the fabric, remove the landscape, I don't know, whatever, you're redoing your yard or something, this stuff can be a real pain to get rid of, all right? And like I said, it could be buried in the ground for ages, all right? So environmentally, it's not a very good product to use, all right? So there's a lot of debate over that, using fabric, but just around your pond with gravel, I kind of still tend to think it's a good idea because I don't want to use herbicides around the pond, right, to kill the weeds. So if I can prevent the weeds from growing, I think the benefit right now is a little bit better. But I understand the environmental issues with it, that it doesn't disappear, it's in the soil forever. I've done jobs, landscape jobs, where I've had to, rip out some old bushes and put new ones in, and there's landscape fabric. It's probably been in the ground for 25 years, and it's all rooted in, and it's all, a pain to pull out and rip out and clean up the area and, clean it all out and be able to, start fresh. Okay, now, another thing about using gravel around your pond I want you to be aware of is simply the fact that in the sun, the gravel gets hot. It holds the heat, all right? The darker the gravel, the hotter it's going to get. It could burn the roots of your plants. It will definitely dry out the soil underneath it fast, okay? Because the gravel gets hot and it's going to pull that moisture out of the ground, okay? It's going to dry up that ground. So be aware of that, okay, that it could dry your plants up in the summer. Now, there's a gravel that's very decorative. They have different names from it in different places. I've heard it called a lot Mexican beach pebbles. They're black, they're round, flat, smooth, black pebbles, like round stones. They look really fancy, they're really decorative, but they're like black, right? They're like a dark gray to black. That stuff heats up, it gets so hot in the summer, you can't touch it, okay? Think of what that's doing to your plants and to the roots of the plants, all right? Another thing with the landscape fabric real quickly is that just a rule of thumb that I think of, because I'm a landscaper, I got to do this stuff, all right? If you're going to be planting a lot of annuals around the pond, landscape fabric's a pain in the neck, right? Putting landscape fabric around, shrubs, a bush, a rhododendron, whatever, a Japanese maple, a spruce, whatever, we can cut it around, right? But when you have it all down, all around your pond, and you go out and you buy a couple flats of annuals, and you got to put 25,000 holes in it to put all the flowers in, it gets to be a little bit of a pain too, all right? So give and take, all right? So just be aware of that, whatever. So the landscape fabric, the idea with it is that it blocks the roots from coming through from the weeds, okay? But it allows water to absorb in. Now, it doesn't just soak right through it. It takes some time to soak through it. It's got to be really wet and saturated for the water to start to perk through the fabric. And if you're planting a shrub and you have fabric around it, keep a nice area around the shrub where the water can just go freely into the dirt around that root base, that root ball. All right. Again, if this is on a hill, the water's going to run right off it and go right down. It's not going to go through it this way into the soil. It's going to run right down. All right. So your plants up here on this hill are not going to get as much water as you think. Just experience, okay? All right, now let's get into mulch, all right? As opposed to gravel, I would much prefer mulch, especially if we're doing more of a garden setting. We're gonna be planting flowers, we're gonna be planting shrubs and bushes and all this nice beautiful stuff. Perennials, annuals, mulch. Mulch retains the moisture in the ground, okay? It keeps, it keeps it a little more moist. And the gravel dries it out, right? And the other thing, that's good with the mulch is if we put it down thick enough, it will act more of a weed barrier as well. Now, there's different kinds of mulch, all right? There's cedar mulch, there's cypress mulch, there's hardwood mulch, there's black dyed mulch. You can get mulch. I've seen green mulch, I've seen purple mulch. Red mulch, all right? There's all different colors. Now, the black is very common. Black is basically just a common hardwood mulch that's dyed black. Now, it's stunning, right? Obviously, it's going to have the most visual, pop, right? Black mulch, red, green, blue, yellow flowers, plants, everything in it. It's going to pop that much more. It is a dye. Okay, it's not going to stay black like that forever. It will fade in the sun. And another trick for you with putting down black dyed mulch or any colored mulch is that when you buy it and you spread it down on your garden, make sure it's not going to rain for at least 24 hours after you put it down. Reason being, it's dye. All right, and if you're going to handle it, like if you're going to dump a wheelbarrow load of it down and spread it out with your hands, make sure you got gloves on because your hands will be black, covered in black dye. All right, my wheelbarrows turn black, my shovels turn black, everything gets black from it. Okay, but if you put it down fresh and it rains right afterwards, and the dye on that mulch hasn't dried, it will wash off. And you're going to lose a lot of that color, all right? So just a little tip, don't put dyed mulch down before it rains, okay? Give it at least 24 hours to dry to hold most of its color. So, whether you're using black mulch, cedar mulch, a hardwood mulch, whatever you like, it all kind of works the same thing. Put down a nice initial layer, a couple inches thick, to keep the weeds down, and it really does work. Now, I don't like using fabric underneath mulch, all right? My feeling is weeds can grow in the mulch anyway. So if you put fabric down and then you put, mulch on top of it, your weeds can still grow in the mulch. You're not going to stop the weeds anyway. But a thicker layer of mulch will help to prevent weeds. And for the most part, okay? And also the thing with mulch on the fabric is in a heavy rain, it will wash right off. All right, the mulch will wash right off the fabric. So, yeah, don't use fabric with mulch. If you want to use it with rock and gravel, it's up to you. It works better for that. But mulch is better for your plants. Okay, it's nutrients. It's it's cleaner. It's going to hold the moisture in the soil more. It will biodegrade, right? Maybe every. A lot of people do it every year, but at least every other year you might need to freshen it up a little bit and put down a new layer. But for the most part, if you're doing a more of a garden with plants, shrubs, flowers, perennials, all that stuff, I think really mulch is a better way to go. It's better for the plants, and and it looks great. It looks nice too. Um, you know, there's like a rubber mulch that they use sometimes in playgrounds. I just don't see that. Um, you know, a lot of different options and different kinds of mulch, but for the most part, it's better for your plants than the gravel. All right, so yeah, I'll give you some ideas here. I hope it helps you out a little bit. Again, watch mulch on a hill. All right, it could wash down if it's too steep, but if the incline is not too bad and you put a nice layer of mulch, it should hold just fine. All right, yeah, there you go. All right, the difference between using gravel and mulch around your ponds and pros and cons of each one. The thing with the gravel is you put it down once and you've got it there for 25 years, right? You put down mulch, you got to do it every couple of years. Of course, the mulch is a lot cheaper than gravel, okay? So give and take, all right? So I think I've just about covered everything here, that I wanted to, with all this stuff and which ones to use. It's pretty easy either way to put it down and take care of it and maintain it, and both will look nice around your pond. So it's a personal preference, what you like the best, and what goes around for what you want to do. All right, so thank you very much. We're going to end it here. I hope it helped you out. Again, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I know this video wasn't so much about ponds specifically, but it all is about the landscaping and natural part around your pond, right? And which enhances your pond. So it's all good. So thank you very much for watching. Again, check out my website at Pondscapes and More, and send those pictures of the ponds from all over the world. I'd love to include them in there, and I think it'd be really cool to see, take a look at. Thank you very much for watching. We're going to see you back again in another video, hopefully. But in the meantime, go out and enjoy your pond. Take care. Bye.